Hello all and welcome to Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are making this gorgeous potpourri pouch or incense pouch or a bar of soap kind of pouch, whatever you want to put in your little bag. And it's actually good for, keeping moths away, bugs away, helps keep the room smell fragrant. Mine smells very eucalyptus right now. I think I put too much eucalyptus in mine. So the whole room smells like this, which is good for me because, as you know, yours truly has had a flu and my sinuses are all blocked. So it's working very well for me right now. All right, so what will you need, guys? You will need between 15 and 20 grams, I should say between 18 and 20 grams worth of cotton. And now this is 100% cotton. It's a DK weight or a 3-weight cotton. You can use acrylic, you can use wool, but I love the cotton for this particular piece. Yeah, you will need 3 buttons. The sizes of these buttons, I'm just going to pop them up there. There you go, gorgeous. That's the size of buttons that you need for yours. You will need your hook. The yarn calls for a 4mm hook, but I'm using a 3.5mm hook today because we're doing a little bit of fillet, and if we use the 4, that would be the spaces would be too big. So I'm using the 3.5mm hook. Now this yarn is Bendigo Woolen Mills yarn, 100% pure cotton. Again, you can use what you like. You will need 4 stitch markers. You will need your scissors and your sewing needle. The only thing you need the sewing needle for is to be able to get through your buttonholes, to the eye of your buttons, that is, and also to sew your buttons to your piece. Yeah. And you will need, obviously, if you're putting the fluff and fluff in there like I am, you will need about 2 hands full like that of the fluff and fluff or fluff and polyfill thing. And you will need some incense if you're going to use it. I put eucalyptus, the whole room smells like it. Or you can pop a bar of soap in there, or you can pop the potpourri that I showed you on our live the other day. I'm going to keep the potpourri for next Thursday and we'll explain that in a minute. But for now, the colour combination for today's tutorial was chosen in one of our live antics on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time. Marry that up with your country. And the lovely lady who chose this colour combination here, the green, was Yvonne. Now, Yvonne has chosen the green and this is going to be her colour combination today. Now, Nifty has chosen the red. Nifty's project will be created Thursday week coming, all right? So give ourselves another week to create Nifty's project. But for now, we're going to create the potpourri pack with the colour combination that Yvonne chose. A very special thank you to Yvonne for her colour combination today. All right, so thank you very much for watching us. Good luck creating your gorgeous potpourri pouch. Alrighty guys, we're going to start off by making a slip knot. Grab the tail end of your yarn, wrap it around your finger once and twice, holding it there, holding it down there. Leave yourself a long enough tail for weaving in later. Yeah. Pass your back loop, whoops, halfway over your finger, there. Pass the other loop all the way over, pop your hook in and give everything a tug. All right. Now we're going to make 20 chains. And a chain is yarn over your hook, pull a loop through once, yeah? Yarn over 2 and 3, 4, 5. All right, so continue in that manner until you get 20 chains and off we go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right, from here you are going to place your yarn over your hook, hold it there. We're going to put a half double crochet in the second loop from the hook. So there's your first and there's your second. Now that's half double crochet US, half treble UK. All right, so pop your hook in that second chain, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Place your stitch marker in the top 2 loops. Oh, if I can get that in there, of that stitch. Yeah, top 2 loops right there. And then, this is the easy part. Yarn over your hook. You're already in that stitch there. So you need to go into the very next loop only. So you've got your yarn over your hook, so you skip that chain that you were in, go into the very next one with your half double crochet US, half treble UK. Yarn over your hook, into the very next loop, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, 3. And that's it. In every loop you come to, all the way across your chains. So off we go. And that's pretty much it. But by the end of this row, you should have 19 half double crochets US or half trebles UK. If you don't have 19, check your count, redo it, make sure you have 19, or your pattern in the center will not work, and you'll work that out later. But you don't want to not check that you've got 19 and then realize it halfway through your piece and you have to take half of it undone. All right, so continue doing your half doubles until you get to the end, and then make sure you have 19 across. And we're almost there. 2 more. There's 1 there, and there is 1 right there next to the knot. All right, so that is your last half double. Now, being wary that that is the knot, that's normal, yeah? So how do we count our stitches, I hear you ask? All these little tiny V's that you see here. All right, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Make sure you have 19. All right, next row, super duper easy. Chain 1, turn your work. You're going to work along these stitches. Now you can turn it that way or you can turn it the other way, whichever suits you. Yeah. And I'm just going to turn it like I turn the page in a book, yarn over my hook, and actually the first stitch is here. Our chain is up here, and that very first stitch you come to is right there. Don't miss that stitch, yeah, or you'll be 1 short. So do a half double crochet US, half treble UK in that stitch. Grab your second stitch marker. So far, easy, yeah? And then you do half double crochets in every stitch. Now where you're going is, you've got your yarn over your hook. You see that little space right there, and if you can't see it, give it a tug. That's where you're going in. You should have 2 loops on top, yeah? Pull a loop through, 3 loops, pull through, yarn over into the very next little space you see. You can give it a stretch and you see that top space with the 2 loops. And that's it. Half double in every stitch all the way across your piece. All right, here we are at the end of the row. We have 1 more stitch left. We need to pop our last stitch in there, like so. Remove your stitch marker. All right, so make sure you have 19 half double crochets across. I'm not going to count and waste your time. Go ahead and count your stitches and make sure you have 19 across. What I want you to do here, I don't need you to watch me do this, you can do this, is repeat this row for 2 more rows. Meet me back here and then we'll start working on the pattern, all right? Head off on your own, do 2 more rows, and I'll meet you back here once you're done. Alrighty guys, so here we are at the end of our last 2 rows. So altogether you should have 4 rows. How you count those is you can actually see the lines in between. So that's 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, and 4 rows. All right. At the end of this row, what I want you to do is count 11 across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in your 11th stitch, place a stitch marker right there. All right. So what we're going to do here is continue. Okay. And here we go. Chain 1. Turn our work. We're going to start our pattern. You need to pop your half double crochet in your first stitch like normal. That will never change throughout your piece. And that's your first half double crochet for this row. So if you didn't want to use stitch markers, you could count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and right into that stitch marker you pop your 9th half double crochet. Remove that stitch marker. Well, don't put it in the stitch marker, put it in the stitch of the stitch marker. Chain 1, skip 1, go into your very next one with a half double crochet. And that's 1, and you're counting the 9 across again. So 1, 2, 3, whoops, if I can get that in there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this is where I said you must make sure you have 19 across. Then you would have ended off with a 9th right there. All right, so you should have 9 half double crochets on one side, 9 on the other, and a chain 1 with a space in the middle. All right, that's what I meant by making sure you had 19 across, otherwise your pattern would not work. Chain 1, turn our work. Now we're going to use count across. Okay, so half double crochet in your first stitch, popping your stitch marker in there. You really don't need the stitch markers because we're going to use count, and count is probably a better way of doing things. So that's your first one, and we need 7 across, and off we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what you have is the 2 half double crochets before your space. So what you're going to do is chain 1, skip that first one and go right into the top stitch, which will be a little bit tight, of that next one. And then you have a chain space. We're going to do the same thing. Chain 1, skip the chain space, go into the very next half double crochet with a half double. Now you're going to chain 1, skip 1, go into the very next one, and this is going to be your first half double for the side. So 1, half double again, 2, we're counting across now, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in the stitch with your stitch marker, which I've split, pop your 7th half double. All right, so it's what you do on one side, you do on the opposite. It can look a little tricky because whilst you're looking at those spaces, that can come across like it's leaning to one side, which is normal. Yeah, so chaining 1, which is why count is important. Turn, half double crochet in that first or same stitch you are in, if that helps. Pop your stitch marker in, and this time we're counting 5 across. All right, it's always you're taking off 2. Yeah, so half double 1, and this is your second one. And my yarn is caught. Sorry guys, give me a moment. Third, 4th, and 5th. All right, and again, what you should have is the 2. So you chain 1, skip that one, go into the top stitch of that half double, which will be a little tricky, but go in there and do your half double. Chain 1, skip the chain space, go into the very next half double with a half double. Chain 1, skip the chain space, go into the next half double with a half double. Chain 1, skip the chain space, go into your next stitch with a half double, and then you need to do that again. Chain 1, skipping the next stitch and going into your next stitch with a half double, and again you're counting 5 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've split this one as well, 5. But I did manage to get in there. All right, so what you should start to see is a tiny, tiny little chain pattern. It's kind of like when you're finished, it'll be like a round circle, spaces of chains, yeah? All right, so now we're going to complete the circle. We're going to do the row before it, okay? So chain 1, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Turn your work. Once again, half double in the first stitch. And in the second, oh no, wait a minute, I forgot the stitch marker, didn't I? Oh, excuse me. And, whoops, and half double in your second one, third, fourth, and this time we're going to the 5th stitch with your half double, like normal. And now we're going to fill up one space. Into the space with a half double. So you're going over the chain 1 with your half double, and you're going into the half double with a half double, like so. So you should now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah? Now this is a chain space. You're going to do a chain space. So 1, skip 1, go into the next, half double, chain 1, skip 1, go into the next, half double, chain 1, skip 1, go into the next half double, and we're starting our 7 across. 1, and the next one should go into your chain space, right over the chain. 2, the next one should go into your half double. 3, and you know the rest. 4, 5, 6, and did I split this as well? I keep splitting them. And 7. All right, so all you did was closed up a little. All right, so we're going to do the 9 across now, which is closing up completely. Chain 1, turn your work, yarn over, not completely, but closing up, yeah? So half double in your first one. Once again, popping your stitch marker in. Hopefully I haven't split that one this time. Keep splitting them. Half double into your second, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and into the chain space, 8, into your next half double, 9. Then you're going to chain 1. Skip over that space, go into your next half double with 1, and that's the start of your 9 across. 1 into the next space, 2, 1 into your next half double, 3, and you know the rest. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you guessed it, 9. No splitting there. Chain 1, remove that last stitch marker for a moment. Now what you're going to do is, this particular row is a close-up row completely. So what you need to do is make 19 half double crochets across. So flip your work, half double crochet in your first stitch like you've been doing all along, placing your stitch marker right there. Hopefully I have split it. Can you believe it? Right, so grabbing your hook in there, yarn over your hook, that's your first one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the half double crochet, it'll be a bit tight, and then 10 in your chain space, 11 in your very next half double, and then you know the rest, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and you guessed it, 19. All right, simple, simple, simple. Now, the next 3 rows is even more simple. What I want you to do, and if you look carefully of what you've done there, that's the look you've done. So what you need to do now is to do 3 rows of half double crochets of 19 stitches across. Meet me back here and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. All right, head off on your own, do 3 more rows of half double crochet, and I'll meet you back here once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of our 3 rows, okay? If you wanted to make sure that you did it right, all you need to do is fold it in half and your little gaps or spaces, if you will, should marry up, yeah? And your rows should marry up. Yeah. Alright, so what I want you to do now is to grab a bar of soap, and I've got Dove here, don't you love the smell of that? And you could use fluffs or you could use a potpourri, but I'm just wanting to show you what it looks like with a bar of soap. It should pretty much reach the very, let me get a close up for you so you can see it. Kind of reach the very tip of the bar here and the very tip of the bar there. If it's bigger, oh, don't worry too much about it. Big is okay, because some soaps are a lot bigger than this little Dove. Some of them are quite square, so it's okay for it to be a little bigger. If it's smaller and you're making for a smaller bar of soap, that's okay. But if you're making for this small bar, because it's quite small, this one, and it's really, really small, you need to do some more rows, okay? But in the meantime, ours is, well, pretty much okay. So what I want you to do now for this piece right here, now I finished the row and I chained one. We'll do it again. Let's just do the last stitch for you so you can see what I did. Now my hands are all slippery from the soap. Don't you love it? Put your last half double crochet in, pull up a loop like so, and we are going to cut that thread. Give yourself a really long tail. You don't need to, that's just me being finicky. Don't you love it? She's so finicky. You can leave that stitch marker in there, and if I were you, I would pop a stitch marker in the top of that one. Not for anything right now, but for later. All right, when we are putting our 2 sides together. And yes, you need to do a second one almost exactly the same as this. So what I want you to do though is repeat this from row 1 all the way up to the 11th row. You should have 2 rows that you are not going to complete. All right, so you just need to complete 11 rows of this piece right here. So repeating everything you see from here until your 11th row. Meet me back here and we will complete the last 2 rows together. All right, so head off on your own, do the next 11 rows, meet me back here, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so here we are at the end of our second piece. Now we're not exactly at the end of it, okay? I asked you only to do 11 rows. We are now going to do the last 2 rows together, including making buttonholes. So this will be our button side, the one that we completed before. This is the one we're nearly finished. You need to do 2 more rows to finish this piece to make it the same size as the other one, all right? So making sure you chain your stitch at the end of your row like normal and putting a half double crochet in your first stitch like normal, popping your stitch marker in there, you'll need it there. Then that's your first half double. We're going to count them across. 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to chain 1, skip the first space, go into the second one with another 4. 1, when I say 4, 4 across, 2, 3, 4, chain 1, skip 1, go into the next with 1, 2, 3, and 4, chain 1, skip 1, go into your next one with 1, 2, 3, and if you can, mine is split, get into your last stitch. Now if you're 1 stitch over, 1 stitch under, at this point it doesn't matter, all right? Don't stress. Like so, chain 1, pull up a loop. That is your 3 buttonholes across, 1, 2, and 3. All right, so that is what we're going to do. Now we're going to fill up those buttonholes, and then we have to try the buttons. Probably try them first. Just try them first. Just pop one in for now. Oh, it's perfect. All right, but now we're going to fill them up. So chain 1, flip your work, and you're doing your first half double crochet like so. Stitch marker in, and I'm going to split it again. I was going to say you probably don't need it, but you still need to, and I'll fix mine up later. Don't stress too much for me. And 1, that's your first one. This is your second one, your third one, and your fourth one goes into the stitch like normal first. Well, that was a bit tight for me. And your fifth one goes into the chain space. So right over your chains like you were doing over here. And then your sixth one goes into the next stitch, 7 in the next, 8th in the next, 9th in your next, and your 10th one goes into the space, and then 1 into your next stitch. And just keep filling up all your stitches. So you need to fill up 4 stitches across and then fill up the chain space with 1 half double crochet like you were doing with your fillet down there. Okay, over the chain space, into your next stitch, into your next stitch, and your next, and finally your very last. Chain 1, remove that stitch marker. All right, so what you now have done is, let me bring this out a bit more, sorry. You have completed your rows. So both sides should marry up to each other, yeah? All right, so what we have now is our buttonholes here. Make sure, once again, that your button fits your buttonhole. Now, if it's too loose, like really loose where the button just falls out, you need to undone the 2 rows and just do this second row, chain 1, don't leave a space, just complete all your stitches all the way across, but making sure you chain 1 where we chained 1. That's if it's too loose. If it's too tight, do that second last row again, chain 2, just leave 1 space, and then that will make your buttonhole a lot bigger. All right, so you can adjust your buttonhole to suit, but we don't need to because mine fits perfectly. What we're going to do now is buttons. Now, there's the button that we have, okay? This is the front of your piece, got the buttonholes. So your button needs to go on the piece that doesn't have any holes, all right? But remember how I got you to put stitch markers here? I probably shouldn't have. It would have been easier to find the right side. Doesn't matter. The right side of your work is the base of your work. The tail is in your left hand, yeah? That's the right side of your work. I want you to flip your work, all right? Your buttons are going to go here because your piece is going on top so that the right sides of your work are facing no matter which side you put it. So we are now working on the wrong side of your work. Wrong side of your work, your tail should be in your right hand. All right, hope that made sense. Grabbing a button. Now, if you remember, the stitch count we did was 4 across. You don't need your hook, you need your sewing needle. But before we do, make sure your sewing needle fits through your buttonholes. Now I have 4 buttonholes, so it's going to take me forever to sew up. Well, not really, I'm just exaggerating a little. Grab a piece of thread, just double it. You know, pop your hands there, that's the amount you'll need. Even that might be too much, yeah? Cut it. Attach it to your sewing needle, or thread it to your needle if you will. Like so. Just leave a small tail up the top and leave the long tail. No knots. All right, we're going to work on that in a minute. Now, remember before how we went 4 across, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we made a chain. Right beneath that stitch there is where we want to pop our sewing needle. All right, so if you want to count it again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where your chain was, and that's the stitch you want to put it through. All right, as close to that stitch as you can get it, yeah? Just pull it through, don't pull so much. You will need, let's move this tail out the way, it's a bit confusing, yeah? You will need that tail to tie in a knot later, all right? So making sure again that you are on the wrong side of your work, the tail is in my right hand side, the base tail, yeah? Grab your button, pop it through your needle through the button on one side, pop it through the button on the other side, and then pop it in the same stitch you are in, but maybe in a different section, maybe a little lower, straight through the stitch, yeah, and pull it through. Okay, pull it through. There's too many threads here. Give me one moment, guys. There we go. Get rid of that thread. I'm going to pull it through like so. Just making sure you are holding your thread here. Yeah, making sure you're not taking this thread down or pulling it through, that is. This little tail is driving me nuts. I should have weaved it in before, but anyway, never mind. All right, so we're there. Now what you want to do is start filling up this button. So hold it nice and tight. Find a little space at the back, anywhere, right there. Anywhere. If you've got a 4-hole button, just keep going through all 4 holes, right? If you've got a 2-hole button, you only need to go through 2 sides, all right? But I have a 4-hole button, so I need to go through all 4 sides, and I've done it wrong, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Making sure you're holding your thread at the back, yeah? At the back there, we don't want to lose that. Let's try another hole up here somewhere. There, I've got to fill up my last side there. All right, so make sure all sides of your button is filled. Whether you've got 4 or 2 sides, make sure it's full. Turn it over. This thread is probably too long. I'll just bring it out a bit. And we're going to make a little knot, make a little knot there. 1 and 2. All right. Now, the other thing now is, now that we've made our knot is on the right side of our work. And we don't want that. So what we're going to do is take our thread and just pop it through somewhere, not through the button, just somewhere through the back of your work. You don't need it to go into the button anymore. But anywhere through the back of your work, like so, and just weave that end in, I don't know, up and down here. You don't have to overdo it. I'm so far away, I'm sorry guys. You don't have to overdo it, just pop your needle, you've already tied it in a knot, so just popping your needle through some threads there, like so. Oh, I've lost the thread. Look, it's come out of the needle. Don't you love it? Give me a second, I'll do this. Oh no, I was going to say I'll do it off air, but it'll take a second to put in. So keep weaving your end in a little bit for about, I don't know, just 2 on one side, 2 on the other. There we go. It's a bit of a knot on my yarn, can you believe this? And then 2 somewhere else, it doesn't matter. Anywhere you want, just between 2 threads, like so. And then you just cut your thread. All right, so grab your scissors and give your thread, not that far away, but a little bit closer, a cut. All right, so that's what you've done. Yeah, so what I want you to do now is to grab the other thread that was here and do the same thing. Pull it through into the back inside there and weave it in there. All right, so do that. I'm not going to do it for you. You know what to do. You did it with this one here. So do it with the second one. Pull it through and do that. Then I'm going to get you to do this off air. No, before you do anything, make sure that it marries up with your piece. Yeah, so let's pop it on. It's not going to hurt to pop it on. And there you go. So mine marries up right now. It's not closed yet. We're going to close that in a minute, but just for now, make sure that marries up. All right, so what I want you to do is do the same thing. Count your 4 across, then your 5th one, and pop your next button in your 5th stitch. The same thing over here. Count your 4 across, then your 5th one, and pop your button in your 5th stitch. And it's always the second last row that you pop your buttons on. So that way, when they're together like so, they marry up. All right. So go ahead and do those 2 buttons off air. Meet me back here in just a moment, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. If you don't want this loop to come undone, because it can while you're working with it, just pop a little stitch marker in there and it stops it from coming undone. Of course, I didn't close the stitch marker. Good on you, man. All right, so that's done. You don't need this done up for now. It's just to show you where to put your very next button. If you don't want to count and you just want to do this, which is what I've done in the past, where I've just gone like this and then I've just popped my needle through the hole. Removed the piece with a hole, and that's where my buttonhole goes. I do prefer to count over it. Makes it a little bit more precise. So that's it. Anyway, go ahead and put your last 1 and 2 buttons on. Wherever I put my other button, I can't find it now. Put your 2 buttons on now and meet me back here in just a moment, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so now your buttons should be attached, or your ends for your buttons should be weaved in. Don't worry too much about these ends, we'll do those in a minute. Get excited guys, this is our last round. Grab your other piece where you still have your thread attached. Now if you've cut your thread, you need to reattach in the same space where we were before. Alright, but that's why I got you to pop a stitch marker in that little loop so that we don't get lost. Alright, so that's now. Your buttons should be facing you. That is now where you need your piece to be. Grab your buttonhole piece. Now this is the right side of our work because our very first tail that we began with should be in our left hand side, or where we began should be in our left hand side, yeah? So pop it on top of your piece, like so. So if you were to turn this, it would look the right side of the work this way and the right side of the work this way, all right? With your buttons on the inside, that is normal. All right, so what you're going to do, lift this little loop right here. We're going to work with single crochets. That's single crochet US, double crochet in the UK. All right, so you've got your 2 pieces together. First thing you're going to do, now remember you've chained your 1 at the end of that row right there. You're just going to pop your hook in the same space you are in and right in the stitch with your stitch marker on the opposite side. Just remove that stitch marker for now. All right, and just pull your loop through like so. 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. That is your first single crochet. Now what we're going to do is work along the sides, not this side here, but along the sides of our piece, which can be a little awkward. We've done that very first half double crochet. So now what you're going to do, it's a little awkward. You can either go in the space if it makes you comfortable, or you can find the stitches. I think probably the best bit is just to go in the space for this situation, yeah? Pop your hook in the very next space and the very next space on the opposite side. Single crochet that together, yeah? Once again, find another space right there. Space on the opposite side. Oh, hang on. That's just space on the opposite side. Single crochet together. Making sure you're keeping your sides straight. Yeah. So again, we are going to single crochet in the next space on one side, the next space on the other, and off you go doing that. right, we're going to just pop it in that last space and in the last row there. But we're going to do it again with going over the chain if you want, and just popping your loop on the inside of your work and going back in the chain, the stitch that you are in for a second one. And then we're going to do it a third one going over the whole piece. So we're turning our corner. All right. This section will be a lot easier because you have your stitches here. So you can actually go into all your stitches. But before you go across that row, that side I should say, just make sure you have gone into all the sides at the back. If you want to do that, just open it up and see if there are any holes. Oh, we're not even out. And it doesn't look like there's any holes. All right, so that's okay. So now your job is to continue along the base of your piece. The base will be so much easier because once again, I said we have the stitches there. Now remember when we started these chains, we popped our half double crochet in the first loop. So now we're going to pop our single crochet through both the loops. So you go into the base of the half double crochet with both loops on top there and both loops on top there, like so, yeah, and just do that all the way across, making sure you're not missing a stitch like I nearly did. It's a bit tricky the first two stitches. After that, the rest becomes a little easier. All right. I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do this. It's going to take forever. All right. So what I want you to do is do your single crochets all the way until you get to, okay, now this is a little tricky, that very last stitch right there and the very last stitch there. All right. Well, actually, you know what? You don't need to do both sides, just do one. Get to that very last stitch, or the second last stitch if you want. Get to the second last stitch and I'll meet you there in a moment, all right? Single crochet through every stitch on one side and every stitch on the other through the full thickness, making sure you are not missing any spaces, all right? Go ahead and single crochet all the way across there. Get to that second last stitch right there and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, so here we are on our, I'm actually on the third last stitch. I haven't done my second last stitch. And, no, I have done my second last stitch. Well, excuse me. Thank you very much, Mary. I don't know. Let's get close up and have a look. Yes, we're going into that very last stitch on the other, like so. All right. Now, this is where we do our corner like we did before. Let's do a second one. Grab that tail and just pop it at the back for a minute. 2, and then you're going to do a third one. Now that's filled up that corner completely, giving you a chance to turn around. And now you've got this guy right here. You need to go across here, which was very similar to before where there were some awkward spaces. Don't stress too much about it. Just find your very next space and your very next space. And, oops, let's try that again. And single crochet all the way across. Yeah, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. Just making sure that everything is straight while you're doing it. Mine's pulling a little bit. It's just the buttonholes that are in the way. The buttons that are in the way. So make sure it is straight. Go along this side like you did before. Yeah, here. And I'll meet you once you get to, I don't know, the space before the stitch marker. I'll just show you one or two more so you can see what you're doing. It's really awkward here. Space and space. All right. Don't stress too much about it. It doesn't matter at this stage how it looks, yeah? As long as you're going through any space you can come up to. All right? Okay, I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do this. Just get right across there, get to maybe that space right before it, complete that space, meet me there, and we'll talk about finalising our piece. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this row. I think I have left 2 stitches left for this part here, only because it's a little awkward. The first one is there and the first one is on the opposite side. Right, hello, let me try and do this properly. There, it's very awkward, yeah, Now what we're going to do, remove that stitch marker. I might pop my hook in first. Hook in the stitch marker and hook in the stitch marker here. Yeah. Pull a loop through, pull the loop through, remove both stitch markers. You did a single crochet there, by the way, guys. Nothing's changed all the way through the piece. Yep. Pull up a loop. Guess what? That's it. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it is it. It is pretty much it. You do need to, of course, weave in these ends, which I'll show you in a minute. But if you wanted to make sure your bar of soap fits, all you need to do is grab your soap, pop it in there like so. Easy, easy. And do up your buttons. Yeah, I'll do them up just for the sake of doing it up. I'll just do up. Shall I do up one or two? Oh, I don't know. We'll just do them both up. I mean both or three. We've got 3 buttons here, Mary. Come on, Mary, you can do this. I tell you what, that bar of soap has made the room smell nice. Really has. And there is your little piece. All right. So what you need to do is weave in your ends. So it's super easy. And right now you have that tiny little fillet pattern there on one side and the tiny little fillet pattern on the other. Now it's easy to put a bar of soap in there, isn't it? All right. I'm going to show you later how we put the, in a minute, I should say, not later, how we put the essential oils in there. But for now, what I want you to do is weave in all these ends. All right. I'm going to weave these ends in off air. But I will do the first one for you because if you look carefully, it's there, but we need to make sure we tighten this up a little. All right. So you've got a knot. And that's just the last tail we did. All right, so thread it, yeah, and just bring it through the inside of that back of your piece. So you're pulling your thread through like that, yeah. Then you turn it on the inside and just weave it down the base of the stitches, making sure you can't see the needle, which I can. So I'm going to do that again. So just through some stitches. Like that. Now, can you see the needle? No. All right. So that's just the seam line that we just created. Yeah. Weave it down that way. Weave it back up a little bit more. And don't fuss too much about it. That is not going to come undone. Yeah, it won't come undone. So that's it. Just once and twice for this. It's not like it's a garment that you're going to be wearing and stretching it and, you know, the rest of it. So there you go. That's one. You're going to do the same for this thread and you're going to do the same for this thread here. Alrighty guys, so here we are. All my ends have been weaved in and it's easy once again to pop a bar of soap in there, do up the buttons and pop that in your drawer, yeah? Or you can do what I'm doing with the fluff and fluff. Fluff and fluff, fluff and poly, fluff, poly, fill, whatever you want to call it. Now, you can also even pop your potpourri, just pack it up with potpourri. Yeah, we can do that next week actually with Nifty's project. But for this week, we're using Yvonne's project. And what I want to do is grab the fluff and fluff and just make it so you've got enough to fill both hands full. Not squashed, but just, you know, cupped a little. Yeah, so then you grab your essential oil, whatever you have. Now I've got the eucalyptus, and the reason I'm doing eucalyptus is yours truly is still a little unwell, you know, with the sinus and everything. So I figure, oh wow, I just opened the bottle. That eucalyptus is very, very strong. So being careful, I don't want to put it on my table, but being careful and just popping a few drops in the center of your piece. I don't know, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. I've never done the eucalyptus before. I'm just going to squash it in a bit. Just do a few more pieces. I don't know, 3, 4 again. Yeah. And then close it in like that. And then just pop it in my piece like so. No right or wrong way. No right or wrong way. And then just do up my buttons like so. Wow, that's strong. Well, that's good because I need it right now with my sinus condition. And you know, guys, I've been unwell for the past few weeks. So there you go. There you go. All right. So that is now done. Oh my gosh, the whole room smells like it. So just squeeze it out and make sure you've got plenty in there. The whole room I think I've put too much in. So maybe 8 drops is plenty and not the 12 or whatever I put in there. Keeping the buttons white helps me because I've got plenty of holes and we can see the white inside. So keeping the buttons white is nice. Just straighten up. Oh, it's all over my hands. I'm going to wash my hands in a minute. But just straighten it all up and there you have it. Beautiful, gorgeous potpourri pack of eucalyptus scented for this one. Yeah, you can pop your bar of soap in there. You can pop your potpourri in there. We're going to do the potpourri next week for Nifty's bag. But for Yvonne's bag, this is what we've come up with. A very special thank you to Yvonne for her colour combination for our little potpourri pouch. Don't you love it? Don't you love it? Now you can pop that in your drawer with your, whatever it is, your socks or whatever else you want, cupboard to get rid of any bugs or moths or even close to your bedside table when you've got a bit of sinus like me or you've got a cold. This would be great for you. All right. Thank you very much once again for joining us making our gorgeous pouch. And once again, a very special thank you to the lovely Yvonne for her colour combination in today's tutorial. All right. Don't forget to join us on our lives at 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoons, 10 a.m. Saturday mornings, Melbourne, Australia time. And don't forget at 10 a.m. on Saturday mornings, we actually have a thing called Live Antics where you as a subscriber gets to choose a colour combination of our very next tutorial. For this week's Live Antics, we'll be choosing our Live Antics, but it's going to hold over for 2 weeks because the next weekend I'll be at the Australian Sheep and Wool Show, so we won't be doing a Live Antics on that day. And we'll talk about that during the week next week. All right? Thank you for joining us again. My name is Mary and this is Wow Crochet Designs, and ciao for now.